Jalen Brunson at this moment in time is a top 10 NBA player. And before you get all mad at me, I'm going to explain why he is. Because it is a reason that honestly none of us were expecting this entire season. But it's because he's such a big playoff riser. That's right, playoff riser. Even though he's had the reputation of a playoff choker ever since him and Luka Doncic lost to the Warriors in that 2022 Western Conference semifinal series, recently he has been nothing short of amazing. Because in the first round against the Sixers, he averaged 35 points, and in this round against the Pacers, he's averaging 32 points. In this playoff run alone, he's had 5 40-point games, which is better than everyone else in the league, and he has had one 39-point game, which is so close to a 40 bomb. He's also been averaging about 8 assists this entire playoff run, and to go along with that, a few rebounds. And honestly, he's just putting up numbers that we've never seen before. Maybe from players like LeBron, we've seen these numbers. But frankly, he has been playing so well recently that I don't think anyone can stop him. And now, let's look at the best players in the entire league. First off, this regular season, he was also great. I don't know why people are taking so much more, notice to him in this playoffs, but he was fourth in points per game in the regular season. He was also second in the postseason, right behind Joel Embiid, and he's probably going to pass him in that metric. But if we go to the 2023-2024 regular season, he was fourth in points per game. And if you look at the best players in the league, you're going to get some interesting names. You have Luka Doncic. Obviously, he's better than Jalen Brunson. There's nothing to debate there. You've got Giannis. You've got Jason Tatum. You've got Nikola Jokic, and you have Joel Embiid. Now, apart from that, there's no one that's really clear-cut better at everything than Jalen Brunson, a better all-around player. There honestly isn't anyone. And if I go down the list, there are people that you can argue for. But those 7 players I just named are most definitely better than him. Apart from that, yes, I would put Steph Curry over him. I might put Kevin Durant over him, but that's still just 9 players, putting him in that top 10. He's an elite player. He's been maximizing his game in the playoffs, and he's been just so good. I mean, he just goes absolutely ridiculous night in and night out. Even though his shooting splits aren't the best, and I mean, they really aren't the best, because in the first round, he shot 43%, which was definitely the weakest part of his game. But, I mean, apart from that, his game is flawless. Tom Thibodeau literally plays him for more than 40 minutes every single night. I mean, in the first round of the playoffs, he averaged 43.8 minutes, including one game where he played 51 minutes. Yeah, 51 minutes. It's absolutely ridiculous. He's able to carry the load no matter how much they pile on him, and that's one of the most important aspects for a superstar to have. For example, you're going to see a ton of players who just can't be consistent with games played. But Jalen Brunson played 77 games this season, which is second to only Nikola Jokic and Anthony Edwards when it comes to All-NBA first-team caliber players. I mean, he's just being great. He's putting up really efficient numbers. He's had multiple double-doubles this season, and he's barely turning the ball over, which is my next point. Because most superstars, even though Jalen Brunson isn't particularly young, he's just emerged as a superstar. He's 27 years old, but he's only really started turning on the Jets recently when he joined the New York Knicks. His game isn't at the top of its potential. It's not the best that it will ever be and can ever be. And that just makes me think that he has so much room to grow that, frankly, you have to just be so happy about his future. I mean, there's no one really better than him to take in the long run. Right now, if I'm building a team around someone, I might not pick Jalen Brunson as my first option. I would probably pick Luka, Giannis, or Jokic. Maybe Tatum. You could argue Tatum. You could argue Ant. And you might even argue Tyrese Maxey if you catch me on an off day. But apart from that, give me Jalen Brunson to start my franchise. Oh, and of course Victor Wembanyama, but no one's getting Victor. All in all, he doesn't really have much of a supporting cast, which leads me to my third point. Jalen Brunson doesn't have enough people around him, which is why they probably won't win the championship this year. In fact, I can say that they definitely won't win the championship this year. But if they get some surrounding pieces around him, instead of Julius Randle, who's always injured, get someone better. Get OG Anunoby healthy because obviously, as we all know, he is out for the remainder of these playoffs. And frankly, they kind of just need a second star because there haven't really been any good teams recently. And I say recently and not really because, of course, you have the 2022 Golden State Warriors. But apart from that, there hasn't been a team with one good player and the rest of them are just role players, like the Knicks are. Because the Knicks have a ton of good players on their roster. You have OG, you have Julius Randle, I already mentioned those two. You have Josh Hart, who might be one of the most impactful role players in the league, especially these playoffs. He's averaging 18 and 12, which is just absolutely ridiculous. But then who else do you have? Yeah, you have iHeart, you have Alec Burks, you have, I guess Bojan Bogdanovic is injured. You just have solid pieces. Don't have anyone particularly great. Miles McBride, he's bound to progress, but he won't become as good as. Look at the Nuggets, for example. You have Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic. Now, obviously, Jalen Brunson is much better than Jamal Murray. But Nikola Jokic clears Jalen Brunson. See, that's what I'm saying. Nikola Jokic has his second star in Jamal Murray, while Jalen Brunson doesn't have that second star in someone like, Nick Claxton's too bad. Now that I think about it, there are no really good centers in the league. But if the Knicks could land their hands on someone like Cat, like Jaren Jackson Jr., Alperen Şengün, who will grow great. He's about on the same timeline as Jalen Brunson. If they can land any of those guys or another good forward who's decently young, they're looking great. If the Lakers maybe decide to blow it up, they could snag Anthony Davis, which would make the Knicks one of the best teams in the league. But all in all, it's the Jalen Brunson show. He's been nothing short of MVP caliber these playoffs. And like the video if you enjoyed. I'll see you in the next one.